Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Real Talks Podcast. I'm with a good friend of mine, Gabriel. Gabe, he is the founder of Before the Rise Incorporated. Gabe, thank you for joining me. I know you had me in your podcast as well. It was a fun time recording that with you, having that great conversation. But now you are here on my podcast, and I appreciate you spending the time with me again this morning.
Oh, I appreciate you having me, Jay. Like right now it feels weird because it's like we're on opposite ends.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
just
it's like,
definitely
yeah,
it is definitely cool. I mean, we just recorded yesterday, but yeah, I mean, I enjoyed my conversation with you, Gabe. But for our viewers,
of
since
course.
we're both new podcast hosts, we're just trying to get a lot of viewers coming to the show. And then the purpose of my show, obviously, is to introduce other entrepreneurs and business owners, share your stories, success, and as well as some maybe some bad experiences, in your journey. But for the people that who don't know who you are, Gabe, can you tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
I'm the founder, like Jay said, I'm the founder of Before the Rise. It's a marketing agency that I started up about 3 years ago. And I started that up, and I'm also a 10x business coach along with Jay, who's also 10x business coach, but 10x. So pretty much I started off like if you want my whole story, I started off growing up in New York in Queens, in
Nice.
Jamaica, Queens, I would say. And
Wow, familiar. I'm familiar with Queens.
are you?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah. I used to live in Boston, and I would go over there, and visit. It wasn't like a far drive, but it would have to be like a 2 or 3 day weekend typically, and then I'll
Yeah.
just stay in Times Square around that area, Queens in particular, because
Uh,
I don't know if when was the last time you were there, but they have this
what was it?
Filipino restaurant that I go to. It's pretty awesome.
Where in
Jollibee.
Queens?
Yeah,
Oh, I gotta try it out
yeah,
then. You gotta let me know where it is.
yeah, yeah, for sure. You still have family there, Gabe?
Yeah. I'm there like every single like I still own a diner in the Bronx, so I'm there like maybe every 2 months.
Oh, super cool. That's
Yeah,
super, super cool, man. We'll definitely talk more about that. But go ahead before I interrupted you. You grew
that's
up
all
in New
right.
York,
That's what these are
Queens?
about. So yeah, I grew up in Queens, New York, and I grew up in basically the diner industry. Like that's where my parents are like off the boat
Nice,
Greeks. So
nice.
naturally, like if you lived in the New York area or if you lived anywhere there, every single diner was like owned by a Greek and stuff like that.
Right, right.
So like you grow up in that industry, you grow up in the restaurant industry, and you start to like all you do is eat cheeseburgers as a kid because that's all your father would bring home, just cheeseburgers and like stuff like that. So
Yeah,
I would say I was a spoiled kid. I would say
nice.
like I was a rotten kid, a spoiled kid. I got whatever I wanted every single
Bro,
time. I used to basically cry about it.
I love that. I love that, and you're keeping it real. Like not many people, started from humble beginnings, and thankfully you were blessed. You had a great, you
Uh,
have great parents that are have that entrepreneurial mindset, man, and
uh,
that's cool.
well, I thought back in the day it was an entrepreneurial mindset. Now it's like we live in a different economy, so it's like it's
Yeah,
not their economy anymore.
right.
So
True.
yeah, naturally, like I grew up in that area and like always knowing more about the restaurant business than anything else because
Yeah,
that's all we would talk about, and that's all like everyone ever believed growing up that the
yeah,
restaurant business is where the money is at. And it was like
yeah.
basically back in the day, it was all cash.
Right.
Everything was just like paid out in cash, so the money was there,
Yeah,
and I didn't want to do anything to do with it really. My father didn't want me to do anything with it too because he's like, "Oh, work the 9 to 5. Why do you have to put up with this shit?" Excuse my language.
yeah,
Why do you have to put up with it? Work a 9 to 5. Once you get that 5 o'clock, you go home, you hang out with your kids, you do whatever you want. Growing like, why would you put that burden on you? And it's
yeah.
like, well, okay, fine. He doesn't want me in the business, whatever. So I went to like high school. I dropped out of high school. Like this is probably
Wow.
the first time I'm mentioning it. I definitely dropped out of
Yeah,
high school, but
yeah.
I was able to hide it because I got my GED right away. Like the
I
day I
see.
got out of high school, I went in for that preliminary exam. They say whatever to
Yeah,
determine how many classes you need to take,
yeah,
and it turns out I didn't need to take any classes. The guy's like, just come in for the exam. It's going to be in a month or whatever. So I took the
yeah.
exam. I got my GED, and 2 months later, I was in college. Like I
Gotcha.
didn't know what to
Yeah.
study in college, and then I know my sister was filling out the application for me for some
Oh,
reason or
wow.
another because she really wanted me to go to college. I'm
Yeah.
like, they forced it on me. So they filled out, oh, he wants to be a computer science major. And I'm like,
Mhm.
Okay, because I spent my whole day like as a teenager in front of the computer, stepping away on AOL, talking to girls and doing all that. You know, because
Yeah.
I didn't have the balls to go outside and do any of it. So
Yeah.
I would tap away on the computers. And I guess that's why they came up with like, oh, he wants to be a computer major because he loves computers.
Uh-huh.
And I spent a lot of time in college just studying things because now I got like a newfound love for like learning.
Yeah.
I spent a
I do
lot of
too.
time like, studying math, studying computer science and stuff like that. I made a lot of great friends. And it was all about networking for me at that point.
Wow.
Because like,
Already. Yeah.
yeah, like people like you met there, it's like you met a lot of kids who had the same ambition as you.
Hmm.
And like I joined the ACM club. That was out of luck. I don't know how I joined the ACM club. I think I was working at the computer lab at the time and they just had a
Uh-huh.
meeting there. And since I was a student there, like I kept raising my hand. And next thing I know, I became the president of that club.
Wow.
I'm like, wow, people actually do like me at this point. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
why would they
Yeah.
vote for me as president? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And it's like I had the utmost confidence at that point too. And
Right.
like after that, like I stayed in college forever. I stayed in National Computer College for like 6 years.
Mhm.
Not just studying, but I was also working for them. And
Yeah.
that was a good experience too. I learned a lot from like the academics and how politically motivated it really is. So
And yeah, what got you kind of like got you into back into entrepreneurship like after all of that experience?
yeah, so I decided like they let me go because they didn't have any money in there and it's like, well, what the hell do I do now? Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to really like look for a job or anything like that. I was a spoiled kid. I don't know what to do. I worked a
Yeah.
couple of jobs here and there, but my mom at that point, she was working for my father too at the same
Yeah.
time. And the funny thing was that my mom's like, oh, I'm tired of working. Why don't you work like 2 days a week, 3 days a week to pay for your vacation to Vegas?
Yeah.
You know what? I could do that. I could work a couple of hours a week just to like hang out there and like do whatever. So
Yeah.
I started working there part time, and next thing I know, I'm like there full time, and I'm there running it, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I just like started running the diner. My father was
Yeah.
still there. Don't get me wrong, but I just started running like the day shift, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
okay, so I guess this is my life now. Like I wasn't really into it as much, but I'm like, all right, you know what? It's
It
something
brings
to
in
do.
some money. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to culinary school. I
Wow.
decided it's time to learn culinary. I went to culinary school, and it was in the city, in New York City,
Hmm.
and I lasted about 3 months, I would say.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to last because I hated taking the train to the city.
Gotcha.
I'm like, this is boring as shit. Like, why am I doing it?
Uh-huh.
And I enjoyed cooking and stuff like that, but it wasn't my passion.
Right.
Like I liked running the diner. I liked being in the business end of it, but I didn't like cooking or anything like that. But growing
Yeah.
up, like, the only thing I've heard from my father and my mother was basically you have to know everything. You have to do everything. You have to be everything.
Hmm.
No one's
That's
gonna love
the
you at a place like you.
yeah, that's the restaurant industry, right? You got to
Yeah.
be super super involved.
But at the same time, it's all mindset too. And and
Hmm.
back then it might have worked, but you're not gonna grow your business like that. And
Yeah.
it took me a while to actually figure that out. So
Hmm.
what I decided to do at this point is like, I met my wife at the time, like we were like dating. And it's
Yeah.
like we took a trip to Texas just for like, because she's a big Cowboys fan. Sorry to
Hmm.
push the bubble on that. But she's
Oh,
a big
you're good. You're
Cowboys
good.
fan. We went down to I took her for her birthday for a Giants Cowboys game. Like
Nice.
I didn't mind going to that because I hate the Giants as much as the Cowboys, so
Oh,
I
wow.
root for the Cowboys at that point.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was during Sandy, and I remember like we got stuck behind, and they were just so friendly at that point that we were like, "Hey, what do you think about moving here?
Wow.
Like opening up a restaurant, moving here?" And next thing we know, we got married. A month later, after we got married, we were already in Texas looking for a restaurant to buy.
Oh, I see. Wow.
And we found one. It was really cool. It was a really good restaurant, and it wasn't like I can't say it wasn't run right, but at the same time,
Yeah.
like you ever like when you're like a cocky person and like you're just getting started off, you think you're gonna do a better job than anybody.
Right. Right.
I thought it wasn't run right, so I'm gonna run it better. Well, 2 months into buying the place, I realized that shit, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
And for about 4 or 5 years, I'm like, oh, I'm in pain. I'm like suffering. I didn't know like what to do or what to do.
You're
And
still so you stayed in that restaurant for about 5 years?
yeah, Like I felt like at that time, like you know what it is though, you don't know how to cut your losses. I had such,
Hmm.
I had such a big like so much pride that I
Right.
couldn't cut my losses at that point. No
Yeah.
matter how bad I was struggling or how much money I wasn't making, like I just felt like that pride behind me that I had to do something, and I
Right.
wasn't doing it right.
Mm.
That time you realize like, hey, I need to do something here. I'm not doing it right. I'm not making money. We're all suffering.
Right.
We hate life right now because it's
Mm.
horrible. And you blame everyone else for it. And that's
Right.
exactly what I was doing, is blaming everyone else. Like, oh man, I can't find good work. I
Yep.
have to do everything alone. And that's exactly what was instilled in me, is that I have to do everything.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
because I felt like I had to do everything, I had to do everything. And it wasn't like paying off. I was
Right.
losing employees by the day. I was losing money by the day. Customers were walking out. I couldn't do anything because I was trying to do everything.
And you were burning out. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I was
Yep.
285 pounds at one point too. I'm
Dang.
like, yeah, exactly. It was just I felt horrible inside and outside.
Yeah. Wow, man. And from there, like, what made you decide to get out of the restaurant industry?
I felt like I had no choice. My landlord was
Mm.
about to kick me out. Like I owed him 16 grand in rent,
Yeah.
and he was ready to kick me out. God bless him, he was being really nice. He's like, all right, just pay me this, pay me that so far,
Yeah.
like, and we'll work on it. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I couldn't even pay him what he was asking at that point.
Dang.
You just pay me like
Gotcha.
2,000 a month until you like on top of your rent until you like pay it off. And I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, I wish I could afford that.
Right.
So I put it up for sale. And
Hmm.
luckily, my competitor, like, he saw the ad. He came in a couple of times, and like, he decided, like, all right, you know what? I want this place. I want to like start this place, and we came to an agreement about the pay, and like, he paid off my whatever I owed, so this way he
Yeah.
wouldn't have an issue with it. And at that point, like, we sold it finally, and we're like, all right, it's time to start a job or anything like that. I'm like, I can't work a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Like, it's not in me to work a 9 to 5. I really like want to do something. And it's like,
Yep.
why don't we just move to Florida? That was our original plan. Like we originally wanted Florida.
From Texas.
Yeah.
So you ended up moving to Florida, right from there?
Yeah, like 6 months after we sold the restaurant, we were already in Florida,
Yeah.
living in here, and like I wouldn't say we were looking for jobs at that point still, because I was doing options trading at the time.
Hmm.
I was making pretty good money, but I realized that I'm too emotional when it comes to trading too.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the money I would make in the morning, I'd probably lose half in the afternoon, and I'm like, oh, I
Oh
got to find
man.
something to like keep me occupied.
Right.
So I'm not stupid enough to lose my money.
Yeah.
So that's when I came across an ad by Grant Cardone,
Mm.
and in the ad, he's like, "Make your first millions in business."
Mm.
And it was a webinar, like a free webinar. Free webinar. I'll teach you how to make millions in business. All you have to
Right.
do is show up, and I promise you, you'll start learning how to make millions in business right away.
Yeah.
I'm like, who is this dude?
Yeah. Yeah.
I never heard of him. Like my friend Maria told me about him because she's good friends with him on Undercover Billionaire. She's like, "Oh, my friend is on Undercover Billionaire. You got to see him." And
Wow.
that's when the ads started popping up after watching that or after looking
Right.
him up. So
Yeah.
I decided to take a shot and watch the video and watch his webinar. And
Yeah.
throughout the whole webinar, he's like, he was asking himself questions, or he was asking us questions, and like his answer was always marketing, and it was always
Mm.
marketing. Marketing is the answer. Marketing is the answer. And it's
Right.
like, all right, cool. Like I need to market myself, because he always says it's not the best known product. It's not the best product that wins. It's the best known product.
Right.
I'm like, holy shit, that's where I failed, because I thought I had the best cheesecake in the world, but people didn't know it.
Right.
So that's when it's like I get a call like a minute after like signing up from Noah, one of his salespeople, and he's like, "Hey, Gabriel, we'd like to have you down here for the business boot camp." I'm like, you know what? Let me try it out. I don't know what I'm doing, but let me try it out.
Yeah.
And in that boot camp, I remember I got the VIP seat because, like we said, you always have to be the best in the house. And he convinced me to be the best like seat in the house, because that's where you get
Right.
to know people.
Right.
And that boot camp, I'm like, I need to do something, like open up a marketing agency. I need to
Yeah.
study my marketing. I need to do a lot so I could actually do what I fear the most. And I feared me personally. I feared getting known.
Mm.
And it came to that realization that, hey, you have to do what you fear, right? So
Yeah.
I decided to like become a marketer at that point. So I studied my marketing up and down, left and right. I went on Coursera, studied marketing. I went on Cardone University. They have like a little digital marketer thing. And
Yeah.
after noticing digital marketer on there, I went on digital marketer site. And 6 months later, I became a certified partner with digital marketer.
Gotcha.
And yeah, that's where I just started the journey. I became like I was a solopreneur for a while, doing it alone.
Right.
And then when I got on Cardone University, I kind of lied to them too because they're like, "Oh, how many people do you have working for you?" And I didn't
Mhm.
have a business at that point. I'll tell you,
Right.
I didn't have
Right.
anything at that point. But I didn't want people to look at me like, what the hell are you doing here? So I'm
Right.
like, yeah, I got about 5 people working for me, 6 people. They're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you got to sign up to Cardone University."
Yeah.
Like at the first time, I just didn't want to like, I guess, let people down or
Right.
feel like I'm a letdown. So I signed up for it, and I gotta tell you, it's probably one of the best things I signed up for because right
Yeah.
now my coach is unstoppable. Like every single time, every single thing I listen to, it's like, holy crap, this is like an aha moment for me.
Yeah.
So it ended up working out well for me. I have like a good staff now. I have a good income,
Nice.
and I
Nice.
can just see it growing higher. And that's like what pushes me to that point where it's like I got to keep doing this, and I got to grow my empire.
Right. And you've been in marketing for about what, 3, you said 3 years now?
3.5 years, I would say.
Nice, nice, man. And then obviously in that 3 years, like time span, I'm sure you've learned so much about marketing and specifically digital marketing, right? For me, I believe that obviously we know that marketing is superior to sales. You
Mhm.
have to be able to market first for your business in order to generate activity and
Yeah.
interest and interest from other clients or prospects and stuff like that. But with that being said, like, I mean, Carter University, you also mentioned that it's one of the best decisions that you've made, and I completely agree with that as well. It's a definite, to me, it's one of the best training platform I've ever been involved in and studied in, and I still use it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, earlier this morning, I was just training on Carter University, and but for you, Gabe, what got you into being a 10x business coach? Like, how did that get started?
So for a while, I was considering it was that licensee program at that time, and I'm like, maybe I could leverage his like content.
Yeah,
And I didn't think too much about it at that point. This was GrowthCon when they were talking about licensees and stuff like that.
yeah.
I didn't think too much about it. I was already a
And
digital
what
marketer.
year? What year was this, Gabe? Was it
Uh,
just
Last year,
2020? Last year?
2023, yeah,
Gotcha.
or
Gotcha.
yeah, 2023 it was. This was
Yeah.
before I became the 10x Business Coaches program. Anyway,
Oh,
I
I
was already
see.
a digital marketer certified partner, and I'm like, it would be kind of great if
Yeah.
I could leverage digital marketer and Grant Cardone's name at the same
Yep.
time.
Yep.
And I'm like, all right. So that's when I like called Noah. I'm like, hey, I'm kind of inquiring about this. Like 2 minutes later, Elliot calls me,
Mm-hmm.
and like I had a whole discussion with him. And I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's get into the 10x Business Coaches program.
Nice.
Like this was when like I guess it shifted right away from Grant Cardone licensee to 10x Business Coaches because I'm like,
Y-
I
Right.
never heard of it until then. And like I just wanted to leverage the content, but talking to Jody, talking to Dragon, and like it's more like, oh crap, now I got the content and I could leverage being a business coach. So I
Yeah.
could add that to my
Absolutely.
customer value journey. And instead of just like being a fractional CMO, I could become that 10x business coach for them too. So
Right.
I'm like, yeah,
Right.
this was like great.
It's a like kind of in sync, like to what you're already doing in a
Mhm.
sense.
It's like
Yeah.
an upsell or like a cross sell. Like if
Right.
people
Right.
aren't ready for fractional CMO, maybe they're ready to scale their business more, or grow their business.
Right. Right. And so that's pretty cool, man. Did we end up attending the certification at the same time,
Yeah,
or?
we were at the leadership summit, not at the leadership summit, the leadership essentials workshop together too. The day
Right,
before.
right.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
that day was the whatchamacallit, the
yeah.
certification.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. Pretty cool, man. And then, I mean, I personally definitely like that. That opportunity for me was so great. It's changed the trajectory of my business, and now I'm obviously leveraging the business coaching
Yeah,
side on either helping my friends with their businesses, for free, and or just helping other entrepreneurs as well and growing their business specifically on like sales and marketing and obviously the mindset piece of it. But
yeah.
um, what are like for you, man? What are some of the things that you feel strongly about Cardin University?
The mindset was the biggest thing that I've ever learned.
Mm,
Creating a mindset that's beyond what I ever thought could be possible.
yeah.
Because, like I said, growing up, like my father just wanted me to work a 9 to 5, or like make enough money that you could get by. And it's like,
Right.
well, what is enough money to get by? Because I
Yeah.
don't know anymore, because inflation keeps rising
Right.
and prices keep rising. So what is enough money? And at the same time,
Right.
when going into Cardone University, I had that same mindset. Like, I just want to make enough to like survive.
Right.
And when you like listen to like Cardone University, or listen to anyone around you that is on Cardone University or made it, it's
Yeah.
like it's never going to be enough. And at the same time, you have to like see yourself as someone who can do it, who can make millions, who can
Hmm.
get into the nine figures, eight figures, nine figures.
Right.
You can't possibly picture that when you're sitting there believing that a 9 to 5 is the only way to exist. And you
Hmm.
keep fighting yourself on not wanting to work a 9 to 5. You keep fighting it in the same time because it was instilled in you that a 9 to 5 works. And
Right.
I realized a while ago that, hey, my parents don't understand me. You know, that dopamine hit isn't because
Hmm.
I want to work a 9 to 5. That dopamine hits me when I want to like expand and like grow.
Right.
And so when I started realizing that, hey, I can be $1 million maker, I can be a multimillionaire, that's when like my dopamine addiction like came into fruition, and I just kept wanting to do more and wanting to do more.
Right.
Like you said, you help your friends. I love doing that. And
Hmm.
it's like, hey, let's sit down and talk. Let's sit down and do this, because I know you could be a millionaire just like anyone else can be. There's no
Right.
shortage of money.
There's none. There's
Yeah.
none at all. Yeah.
So
And
learning it.
it's definitely up to you whether you want to take a piece of the pie or you're just going to be average and be okay with
Yeah,
just getting the bare minimum. And a lot of people, I'd say most people think that way, right?
yeah,
Until you have
exactly.
that shift in mindset.
Exactly. So like I said, like the biggest thing too is the first rule of success, showing up. I
Mm.
think that's changed my life for good, because like I had such imposter syndrome growing into like the digital marketer world too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I would join in their meetings and stuff like that, and it'd be like people that I like grew up, like not grew up, but like over the years saw as mentors, like people who like I would study on like digital marketers platform and be like, holy crap, this is like I'm sitting in here in a conversation with them. And
Yeah.
I'd like feel such severe imposter syndrome that I wouldn't open my mouth or anything like that. So at that time I'm like, shit, like all right, remember Grant Cardone's rule, just show up, keep
Right.
showing up. And before I knew it, like they welcomed me into like their like whole like atmosphere, and it's like, yeah, man, I think you know what you're talking about. And
Yeah.
it's like that point, like that makes me feel good, and that makes me so much more confident that I just keep
Right.
pushing forward.
Yeah. I was going to say that I'm sure that gave you a lot of confidence from
Oh,
that. And so for our viewers who don't know anything about digital marketing, can you kind of explain that to everybody and what that is and what you do as far as your services?
so the point of digital marketing, and I will tell you, is to get the customer. That's the
Mm,
biggest thing, is to get the customer to pay more, and get the customer to pay more frequently.
okay.
Because that's exactly what you want, is to get that. And not only that, but at the same time, in the end of it all, is that you want them to be your raving fans. And you want them to
Gotcha.
be so in love with your product, so in love with your services, that they're actually going to go out there and promote it for you. And
Okay. Are you
so
talking about like the your consumers or your people for your business specifically?
clients, I'm talking about customers,
Mm,
clients, whatever you want to call
gotcha.
them. That's like
Hmm.
exactly what you want to do, is you want them to go out there and be like, hey, Jay is a genius, and I would suggest you buying his book.
Hmm.
Here,
Hmm.
plugging in your book right now.
Thank
Because
you.
that's
Thank you. Yeah.
exactly how you would grow.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what digital marketing is all about. You want that to happen, and there's a certain journey that they take to do it. And
Gotcha.
over at Digital Marketer, they call it the customer value journey. So it starts
Yeah.
off with, you want to get the client first, and then at the end of the journey, you want him to be a raving fan.
I see. And so like how would you help your clients out with your services?
So basically, as a fractional CMO, my job is to understand what your needs are,
Yeah.
track those needs, create a documented strategy based off of those needs, track them, and see where your bottlenecks and opportunities lie inside the marketing world. Because
I see.
there's 8 stages inside the customer value journey that we like talk about.
Yeah.
The first one is awareness. You need awareness.
Yeah.
You need people to be aware of who you are, and it's like you said, they need to know you. Otherwise, they
Yeah.
can't know you.
Right, right.
Then you got to get them to engage. You got to get them to like convert in a certain way, or subscribe before and convert in a certain way. So this way you have them. You have to excite them too, and then they ascend the ladder. That's when you offer them the core product. But
Got it.
before you could offer them the core product, you need those ahead of time. You need them to be aware of you because in today's world, in the digital atmosphere that we all live in, that's ever growing, it
Yeah.
takes a lot more to get the customer than it did back in the early 1900s.
Yeah. And I mean, like as far as your typical clients, would it be somebody, let's say, who's a new um, health supplement company? Let's say like they're super brand new, they're wanting to launch their supplement products. Would that be somebody that you would ideally help as well, or
I would
does
help
it
them,
have
but
to be
not as a
service
fractional
based?
CMO. Like a fractional CMO, you would probably need the client to have at least $1 million in revenue
Gotcha.
a
To be
year.
able to afford it,
It's
to
not
hire a
even about
fractional.
to be able to afford it, but to be able to do what a fractional CMO does. You would need that
Mm,
because like that's when you start running ads. But there's certain ways that yeah, you can get that startup to actually get to first 100,000, then the first 250,000, and that's all
gotcha.
like by promotion. That's all by like all right, we need to get you on social media first of all. We need to get your
Yeah.
USP, your unique selling proposition out there. We need to know what you are. There's a lot of questions that you would ask just for that awareness
Hmm.
stage
Yeah.
because you can't just start up and say, "Hey, I'm going to sell this product," and not know like who you're selling it to.
Yeah, gotcha. And so, what would be your ideal advice for somebody who, let's say, it's the same topic, same health, health and supplement company that's brand new in the market? They're not known at all. Like, obviously, what would be ideally for them to start promoting the products?
So what I would do is at that point, you start off with your power base.
Hmm.
Start off calling people and saying, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm starting it." You would want to go on social media, be very omnipresent at that point.
Mm.
You would also want to establish authority. So, like a little trick I do for the awareness and the engagement stage is I go on either Quora or Answer the Public. Look
Yeah.
up certain keywords. Like if I'm a health supplement store, I would look up what do people ask about supplements,
Hmm.
and like it comes up with a list of questions that they ask.
Yeah.
Pick one question and answer it on your social media.
Gotcha.
Record a video. Be like, this is what this vitamin does for you, and this is what you should look out for. This
Yeah.
vitamin B12, what is it? The one in Prime or the
Hmm.
one in every energy drink. It's not
Right.
good for
Right.
you. Don't have it. You know.
Oh, wow. Do
And
they have that with Prime, like that Prime energy drink? Because I've never had it before, but they blew up really quickly.
like I studied Gary Brecka's the 10x Health. Like I got the gene therapy thing. And it's
Yeah.
like avoid
Yeah.
the specific type of B12 or vitamin
Mm.
B12. Like it's copacomin or something like I can't pronounce it.
Uh huh.
But I was at the time I was drinking a bunch of primes. It's the hydration drink at that point, and I'm
Hmm.
like I looked at the ingredients and it had it. I'm like,
It had.
I
Oh wow.
I told my wife, I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm not drinking primes anymore.
Yeah. What I mean, how? What made you get into Prime? Obviously, I mean, for me, I know they're a fairly new company,
Eh,
but it's already like blown up. They're everywhere now.
promotion. It's promotion.
Yeah.
It's who's promoting it because everyone knows Paul Logan, so he's a trusted authority inside, like
Yeah.
I guess the digital world, and
Right.
he
Right.
just keeps promoting it. So at the same time,
And
if
he.
people you trust, if people you know are promoting it and it's their brand, you'd want to get
Yeah.
into it. Like
And
this
they
bottle,
leveraged it. Yeah.
yeah, this bottle of water, if you can see it, it's
Yep.
go. I'm not trying to promote them, but at the same time, the only reason why I bought this bottle of water is because Gary Brecka is the one who talks about this specific one.
Oh wow.
And he's like
Gotcha.
hydrogen water. You need hydrogen water, and it's like he's always carrying around Echo Go.
Yeah.
All
Huh.
right, that's why I got it because I trust
Yeah.
Gary Brecka.
Right. I mean, that guy's a genius,
Yeah,
bro.
exactly.
That guy
I
is a
trust what he's saying,
genius.
so that's why it's like whatever he's telling me I need to do about my health, I'm gonna do it because
Right.
not only me, he's taught Dana White, Gary Cardone, obviously Grant Cardone, you know,
Brandon as well. Brandon
Brandon.
Dawson.
He's helped them all, and they're all saying like incredible things about him. Even Steve Harvey, he said I'm not supposed to be this healthy at 69 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's
Did
like,
Steve Harvey like end up like working with Gary Brecka as well?
yeah, he did. Yeah,
Wow. I
he
mean,
had him
because
on the show.
Gary,
Yeah,
he's now a celebrity, right?
yeah.
He's being interviewed left and right, and I remember when they first acquired him, like not too long ago, like a year and a half ago, he just started blowing up. But over in 1 year, I saw he's everywhere.
Yeah.
working with high level clients.
But that's the thing, like the Gary Brecka story. Gary Brecka, like nobody knew him 3, 4 years ago before 10x Health came around. Like he had
Right.
his own thing, like he had it, and he tells the story of how Grant Cardone came into his office, and like 2 weeks later, he calls him up, and he's like, "You meet me in my office tomorrow, and I'll make you a very rich man."
Yeah.
And overnight, Gary Brecka is just blew up because
Blew
everyone
up.
wants to get to know him. Everyone knows of him, and he's traveling the world right now, talking on
Hmm.
stages, selling 10x Health systems or
Right.
Superhuman Protocol. He's everywhere
Right.
now. He blew up to the point where it's like overnight success can happen, but it'll take time.
And but what's funny is because Gary Brecka has been in the business in the industry for many
Mhm.
years, and I think
Exactly.
he was majority owner of his company. I don't know what it was called before 10x Health,
It
but
starts with an S. I can't remember it either.
he wasn't he was making decent amount of money as far as
Mhm.
profit, but um now he's a part owner, but he's making way more than he's ever
Way more
made in
than
his
ever.
entire life, right?
Exactly.
I think Brandon Dawson and Grant Cardone were majority owners more than him,
Yeah,
but
and
he's
we both know. I think Natalie's the president of the company too, so he's
mhm,
like a spokesman now.
right,
With
right.
a minority stake, but
But he's
I think
making a
Gary
lot
Brecka.
more.
Yeah,
He gets to enjoy and travel and talk
yeah.
more about his passion and everything else. And for the people that's not now watching our podcast, if you haven't learned about Gary Brecka and you want to learn about health and your wellness, look him up. He's everywhere. He's so knowledgeable. I'd say he's probably one of the most currently influential when it comes to the health industry because
Probably
he
the most
is
influential.
right now, right at
Yeah,
this moment.
I don't think anyone can influence you like Gary Brecka can.
Right, right. And I attended my friend's networking marketing event, which is like the biggest one they do in that industry. And Gary Brecka was one of um, the guest speaker, like
Yeah,
in network marketing, talking about being healthy and staying healthy and all that stuff. And everybody's mind was blown because in the network marketing industry, there's a lot of health and wellness products. People out there who's fitness coaches and are super fit and healthy and all that stuff. So they had him. He had a 1 hour segment, and everybody's mind was blown. And
yeah.
I felt the exact same way the first time I heard and listened from him. But he's always been that guy who's intelligent. But as you mentioned, right, best known beats best, and he wasn't known before at all. But because of his partnership with Grant Cardone and Brandon Dawson, he just blew up.
They kept putting him
And
in front of a camera and kept telling him to work his magic.
right,
And the
and
rest is history.
the power of branding, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, you know a lot about that. And what ideally for branding, Gabe? Like, what are some of the key ingredients that you need to have a really good solid brand?
You need a Y pyramid.
A what pyramid?
100%, we call it the Y pyramid. Your
Okay, could you
mission,
talk
your
a little
vision,
bit?
and your core
Yeah.
values. You
Okay.
absolutely need to have your reasoning. Why
Gotcha.
do we exist? What is my purpose in this world? You
Mm-hmm.
know, that is absolutely something that every brand must have because without it, your whole company culture just collapses. So
Right.
if you
Okay.
don't understand your core values, if like you're building your brand at that point and you don't have your core values, then the rest of it is like you're not going to have a culture that respects your brand.
Mm.
They're not going to know what they're supposed to be doing. They're not going to know where you're heading to, and they're not going to
Yeah.
respect anything. So by
Yeah.
having a vision, and a core value, a lot of people don't know how to do it, but
Right.
sometimes that's why they have me because I teach
Yeah.
branding blueprints.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing you need is a brand voice, and the
Mm.
brand voice is created by what we call a character diamond. Like you need
Okay.
that superhuman ability, and everyone has that superhuman ability. And on top of that, we call it the North Star because it's like
Mm-hmm.
your North Star. Like Superman can fly. Superman can,
Right.
he gets his power from the sun. So that's part of it. And then you have the counter star. Now the counter star is the weakness. Superman's weakness is kryptonite. You need that
Yep.
balance at that point. You need your like absolutes, like something that you will absolutely not like give up for anything. Like these are
Mm.
your absolute belief, and you would not give them up for anything. And you need your flaws.
Okay.
100% you need to have a flaw inside your brand, because if you don't have a flaw, then you're not connecting with any character. Then you're just like out of this world, and you're not going to connect, because people need that human to human element. Even in today's world with AI, you need that human to human connection. That's what makes it
That.
move, and that's what makes your brand move. If your brand cannot connect to humans, then you're not going to go anywhere. That's
Mm.
what we call the character diamond. And that's what builds up your brand voice.
I see. I
Mhm.
see. That's pretty cool, man. And as far as that goes, I mean, those are great answers in explaining what that is and what a brand needs. What do you see with like the commonalities of the mistakes that of the clients that you've helped with in the past?
They don't have one.
Mm.
Like most of the clients I have, they don't understand the point of branding, and it's like to begin with, like they think it's a waste of time.
Mm.
They think they should waste their time somewhere else. But at the same time, if you built a brand, if you're trying to scale a business at that point, and your company doesn't have a path forward or a path leaning on some kind of like value, then it's going
Yeah.
to crumble, and you're going to start losing left and right. You're going to start losing clients. You're going to start losing employees, and then you're going to start complaining that I can't find good help these days. There's nobody
Hmm.
that could help. Well, because you don't have a clear path for them.
Yeah.
You don't have a clear thing that says, "Hey, this is our mission." It's like take Elon Musk's SpaceX mission, I would call it,
Hmm.
to get people on Mars. Why is that his mission, to get people on Mars, to build a spaceship that could get people on Mars by, I don't know, 2030? Is because
Hmm.
his vision is that the Earth is killing itself.
Right.
That we as humans are killing the Earth, and the Earth is not going to be sustainable for human life. It's going to regrow,
Hmm.
but not for humans, because it hates humans. So in order for the human race to exist, we need to get out of the earth. So he's building
Wow.
shapeshifts. I mean, it's far fetched, but that's what his vision is. That's why he created SpaceX.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that's exactly what his beliefs is, and that's where he came up with SpaceX. That's why SpaceX is blowing up, because
Right.
they clearly know their path. They clearly know their why pyramid, why they
Yeah.
exist, to get people on Mars or get people off the Earth, wherever they want to go. That's exactly
Yeah.
what it is.
That's pretty funny that you mentioned that because I was actually listening yesterday on an interview that what his whys like. He's not doing it for the money,
Yeah,
right? It's his vision. Like he has a specific vision that he wants to accomplish in life, and that's really like why he does what he does. Like people question him why he bought Twitter, or now called
yeah,
X, and then losing out on money on that, I guess. But turns out he was actually very smart for buying Twitter. Now he called him X for
yeah.
that price. I think he paid what $40 billion or
I
44,
think it was
somewhere around there,
45, 54 maybe, or it was, yeah,
somewhere around there.
54 a share. When I think he bought
Yeah,
it for 45 a share. If I'm not
something
mistaken.
something pretty ridiculous,
Yeah.
but
Too ridiculous.
yeah.
54
And
billion.
he's why do you think he obviously Twitter is or X now is such a powerful platform? It's always been for many years, but why do you think he bought that? Do you have any idea?
Because he believes in freedom of speech.
Hmm.
He's very adamant about it, and that's all he kept saying is like, in today's society that where misinformation is coming around, and
Yeah.
platforms like Facebook and Twitter, and not Twitter, and Instagram are
Hmm.
basically shadow banning you for talking against the narrative.
Right.
And it's like, regardless of how you feel about the vaccine, you're
Hmm.
for it, you're against it. There's no reason for you to like block people from mentioning their opinion.
Yeah.
And that's what he fully believes, is like the earth is heading towards, or progression, people are heading towards like a state where misinformation is being used as a means to like silence a majority or a minority,
Hmm.
whichever one. So in order for him to avoid that, in order for him to be like, his mission, like I would say that was his vision, and now his mission is to get Twitter to be a platform that everyone can voice their opinions on,
Yeah. Regardless,
regardless of how you feel, regardless of government wanting to
your
control,
beliefs,
you know.
religion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
what's your opinion? You're for it, you're against it. Who cares? We're here to talk. We're here to be humans. And
Hmm.
humans have naturally, like, we have differing opinions. And that's
Right.
okay. That should be okay. You shouldn't be able to silence me because I believe that vaccine sucks, or because I think you
Right.
need to get the vaccine because you're destroying my life. I don't know how
Yeah.
that's possible, but that's exactly how people think nowadays. And
Yeah.
Elon's vision was, that's not going to happen. Not while I'm alive and a freaking billionaire.
Right. Right. No, that's pretty.
Mm.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Why he purchased Twitter, but certainly it's not because of the money or anything like that. He's already knee deep with all these other companies that he's running,
People are making
SpaceX.
fun of him for buying it and saying, "Oh, he's losing money."
Yeah,
He don't care.
he
He
don't
doesn't
care.
want
Yeah.
money. He could be
Right.
down to 1% of his money and still have more money than any of us. So,
Right.
you think he cares?
100% fact.
Uh,
He knew what he was doing purchasing Twitter, and it wasn't
exactly.
because of the money.
Exactly. He
And
can and he did, and he wants the world to be a better place. But people
yeah.
don't want to believe that. People want to believe that he just wants, world domination. But
Hmm.
yeah,
No.
that's exactly
No.
why he would spend 54 million billion on a platform that just people type on.
Right. Right. I mean, he's very very smart,
Yeah.
and I have a lot of
Hard
respect for the
worker. He's an
guy.
innovator.
Yeah, definitely a
Innovator and a
very
visionary.
exactly. Yeah, he's amazing, man. As far as like going back to like digital marketing, like what are some of the good platforms that a business should be like involved in? Like Twitter,
It
Instagram,
depends. Like
Facebook,
every single
LinkedIn.
business needs their own customer avatar, their own
Uh
customer that
huh.
they actually target, and it depends
Yeah.
on where your customer is. Because if you're talking about like you want the cool kids, like little kids or whatever, they're not going to be all on Facebook. Facebook is for
Yeah.
more an older crowd,
Yeah.
more like
Right.
I wouldn't say serious crowd, but a more older, like not content driven crowd.
Right.
They just like scrolling and looking at pictures and stuff like
What's
that.
going on? Yeah.
So most likely, if you're trying to target 18-year-olds to 20-year-olds with your product, they're not going to be on Facebook. They're going to be on Instagram. That's where
Instagram,
you be
TikTok,
is on Instagram. If you're looking,
YouTube.
yeah,
Yeah.
YouTube too. If you're like a business to business type of person, like you're doing
LinkedIn.
businesses with strictly business, LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
No, that's pretty awesome, man. And as far as like in the future, where do you see digital marketing is going to be? Have like, do you guys get insights on that?
Oh yeah, like digital marketing is heading straight for AI. Everything is going to be
Mm,
AI based, and everything is
wow.
created by AI nowadays. But at the same
Yeah.
time, it doesn't mean that your job is in jeopardy. It just means that
Yeah.
it's going to make your job a little different. And that's what I
Mm,
firmly believe. No matter what, like when the internet first came around, everyone's like, "Oh, it's going to destroy jobs. It's going to people are going to be shopping online." It's not going to destroy your job. It just changes it.
it changes. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah. Yeah.
e-commerce is a big thing. So now you have to learn your e-commerce. You have to learn how to sell online instead of just in stores because that's where you want
Right.
to go. So your job changed completely. You're not just making sales calls on the floor. You're making them online. You're chatting.
Right.
You're emailing. So that's
Yeah.
exactly what AI is going to do. It's going to create a whole different atmosphere where everyone has to be like capable of understanding how to program and how to write an AI.
And have you like what in which ways have you leveraged AI in your business?
Oh, tons of ways. I do. It makes it so much simpler. Like right now, I could
Mm.
just do have it write copy for me
Yeah.
instead of me trying to
Super.
figure it out. Like my custom avatar, like
Hmm.
I have a whole prompt that I utilize just to get to understand my customer a little bit more.
Yeah.
So now I could understand my customer a little bit more. Now I could target my customer better because I could be like, all right, so what do you suggest I email? It's not that specific prompt, but like, hey, so I want to create an email for my clients to run this promotion. What do you suggest? And it brings up a whole thing. All right, this is how I would target them because based off of what your customer avatar was previously, this is exactly how you target them.
Wow. Yeah.
Well,
Are you using ChatGPT or are you using any other
I use
tools?
ChatGPT often. I have ChatGPT 4, and now it's going crazy with like Sora, like video, like text.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Not,
I do you have access to that? It's
not
still
yet.
in beta, right?
Not yet.
Yeah,
Some people might have access, not me. I'm not
yeah.
that bright, but yeah, I use ChatGPT. I use Claude. I use a company called Content at Scale for my SEO blogs.
Oh, okay.
That's really cool because now they have I think they're the best in the world too with that when it comes to
Oh,
writing blog posts because blog posts are still a big thing. You go to
right. It still is. Yeah,
you could do a ton of
helps
blog posts, and that
helps with
company, yeah,
traffic. Yeah.
that company is like creme de la creme of it. So I utilize
Wow.
them a lot.
What is it called? Because I used to do a blog post once a month in my recruiting agency website to increase my traffic, but
Mhm.
I kind of stopped doing that. But what was the tool that
Content
you mentioned?
at scale.
Oh, content what?
at scale.
At scale. Gotcha, guys. Hey, if you're listening to that, look into it because I sure will after our conversation because blogging is still another great tool to increase traffic for your website and all that stuff. Do you blog often?
I mean, I do now
Sid?
because of content at scale. I used to
Yeah.
never like really blog. Like, yeah, I used to write copy a lot and
Right.
same time, but now it makes it so much more easier. And I'll tell you a funny
Right.
story about their president, Julia McCoy.
Uh huh.
When I first met her back in last December, like
Mm-hmm.
before she even got involved with the company, she hated AI. She didn't believe in AI at all. She thought
Oh
it's
wow.
going to take away from the human element. Like you need
Right.
human interaction, you need human feelings. 3 months later, she was giving a presentation on why you should go with AI,
Wow.
and that company
That's
convinced her to like that it's the next big thing. That's why it's like wow, okay,
yeah, yeah. I agree, man. Like AI is definitely revolutionizing everything, the digital world, and it's made a lot of things so much easier for us to where before, I mean, you can still have a copywriter like the
yeah,
but uh, now I can definitely just go leverage AI and write a blog, right? And
exactly.
then and have them do different things for you,
It takes up
which is
less
pretty
time
amazing.
and it's less cost, but at the same time, like you can't say that copywriters aren't going to be around anymore because they still
Oh,
are.
they
You
still
still
will,
need them.
absolutely.
They're probably the ones
Yeah.
that are going to leverage it the most.
Right, right, right.
Yeah,
But you know, if you're a smaller, you know, business owner, entrepreneur, or a solopreneur, you can still leverage AI
yeah,
to help with, you know, being more efficient in your business, giving you, allowing you to have more time to do other things that's important.
yeah. Like the copywriters I hire now, I could hire them to do 4 blog posts in a week as opposed to
Yeah,
4 blog posts in a month.
right, right. Which is pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
which is like, hey, makes it that much more easier on them and us, so we could
Right,
grow together.
right. No, that's awesome, man. Are you hiring people here in the US or are you outsourcing it in other countries?
No, I'm hiring it in the U.S. I could outsource it to
Gotcha.
other countries, but there's a lot like that language barrier. Not saying that I wouldn't do it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know. And plus,
But that's
I'm American full blown, and
I love
I love
that.
my
Yeah.
country, so I'd rather have it inside the country.
Yeah, I definitely respect that. There's not many people that are willing to do that as a business minded person, right? Because it does definitely cost a lot of money to to hire people,
Yeah,
right? But I truly respect that,
I kind
you
of
know,
tend
for
to think
sure.
like back in when I had my diner, I would tell you that I would like letting go of people so I could save more money. But
Hmm.
you come to the realization that people don't cost you money. Not having the right
Right.
people costs you money.
Not having the right people costs you money. Hiring the right people should generate
It
more
generates more money.
revenue
Yeah.
for your business.
But if you're not the right boss, you're not going to hire the right people. So you need that mindset to be the right person for the job.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And like when did you start changing your thinking when it comes to like hiring people and all that stuff?
When I got more involved with Cardone and digital marketer, I
Mhm.
got to know like people around that atmosphere, that community. I would say either one. You
Yeah.
start realizing that hey, you know, they built their business, they built their growth, like they made multi-million-dollar businesses by hiring the right people, not by
Mm.
trying to do it all themselves.
Yeah.
There's not a single multimillionaire I know that did it by themselves. They all have
Right.
partners, they all have like the right crowd, they all have their operations, they all know what they're doing. And it's like,
Right.
oh, I've been doing it wrong this whole time. And it's like until I realized myself, the flaws in myself, the setbacks that actually held me back was myself and
Yeah.
nobody else, I wouldn't be able to see that. You know what I mean? I didn't see that
Right.
opportunity that hey, I need people more than they need me.
Yeah. No, I love that, man. Follow-up question. I know you spend a lot on networking events
Mhm.
just like I have and everything else, but why do you think we should, as you know, as entrepreneurs, business owners, should invest in networking events or attend these events, whether it's online or in-person events?
Because everyone around you in those networking events can change your life. And at the same
Hmm.
time, even if you're spending, no matter what you're spending, these people have been through it most of the time. Like,
Yeah.
never be the smartest person in the room, right? By
Right.
doing that, by
Right.
not being the smartest person in the world, the people that you meet are game changers. They're like, I can't tell you how many people I've met that have like over the years, even in TNC when I was at Traffic Conversion Summit. I met people that
Yeah,
have influenced me to the point where it's like, holy crap, I just gotta like follow this guy's lead, or I gotta follow this
yeah,
guy's lead. Like I've been following Ryan Dice's lead, and that got me far in digital marketing. Then I saw,
that's cool.
I saw Qasim Aslam. I follow him to the T
Mm,
because whatever he says is brilliant. And meeting him in
yeah,
person and like having a conversation with him, asking him the questions that I want to ask, were like mind blowing to me. I'm like, here I am talking to this guy. I was talking to Perry Belcher
right.
too. I'm like, Perry Belcher's like, oh, you got to read the Nine Figure Mindset. I'm like, I already read it.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's pretty cool. And then you met one of my friends, Josh Villarreal. He was over
Yeah,
there
yeah, that was
as
cool.
well.
I met
What I was curious, what was he doing there?
he was at we were at a bad marketing party. The company's called Bad Marketing, and we were at like
Uh-huh.
it was like one of those VIP parties that like have people. So he was with someone that was talking to. Like I just ended up
Hmm.
having a conversation with him, and
Yeah.
I
Small
told him
world,
I'm a
man.
10x business coach. He's like, "Oh yeah, my friend Jay is a 10x business coach." I'm like, "Who doesn't know Jay?"
Yeah, it's a small world, man. People that are, like I said, like, and I met him through a networking event as well, Josh, and we've been cool ever since. And that's one of the great things about attending events like this. You get to
Yeah,
learn and meet other
coolest thing was
like-minded, successful people.
yeah, he was just someone like I met at that point. Like I didn't know like, and you go on
Yeah,
Instagram and he has like 150,000 followers, and I'm like, he was just a normal
he create.
person. He didn't say anything
Yeah,
about himself that would like make him like stand out like as a big shot. He was just
right,
a friendly
right.
person overall. And you go online and you
Yeah,
see that he has 150,000 followers and like he's very popular amongst like the real estate investment world. And I'm like, holy crap! I just had a
hmm,
conversation with this guy.
that's his niche. That's his niche.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's like
he's
crazy how
actually.
influential people are, and you don't even know that because
Mhm.
they're just normal to you when you talk to them.
Right,
So
right,
that's the
and that's
coolest
one of the
thing.
beauty of the events. Like you
Mhm.
attending all of these other events, you get to meet people like that are doing big things and striving to be better. Um, Funny is, Josh Villarreal. He also was in the Navy. We served.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't serve together directly, but he spent a little bit of time in the U.S. Navy in San Diego specifically, and then he got out, and now he's in real estate and. Doing big things. I think they're building a 49 unit in San Diego. And
Wow.
funny thing is, um, because of his content creation,
Mhm.
um, an investor approached him to partner, and
That's
that
amazing.
wouldn't have happened. Yeah,
Yeah, without the
without
network, that's
you
right.
know the exactly,
Like I've
exactly,
met
and
so many,
just
like I've had so many partnerships off of them too. There's like so many friends of
right.
ours, and like I started my After the Set podcast because of my networking. Like
Yeah,
my friend
yeah,
T, I kept talking about like wanting to do it, and he just messaged me. He's a more of a mentor than a friend,
yeah.
but he
That's
was like,
awesome. Yeah,
"Hey, just set the date and do it." He's like, "You're wasting time. Just
yeah,
set the date and do it." And I'm like, "Damn, he's right." So because of him,
yeah.
I have the After the Set podcast now.
Yeah, and then obviously, like you've recorded many, many episodes already, so
Well,
that's
I wouldn't
pretty
say
cool.
many, many.
And you still, I mean, you just started as well, but you get to learn and meet others through, inviting them into your podcast, learning more about them, and then also help promoting their brand and everything else, which is pretty amazing, man. But um, I think you're gonna keep getting bigger, Gabriel. You're in the right
Same with
path.
you, man.
And
Same
thank
with
you.
you.
I'm just taking, all the notes, mental notes and written notes every time I learn something from amazing people and try to apply it into my own life and my business and
Well, the first time I
definitely
met
looking
you,
forward. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
first time I met you, and I guess it was the leadership. Like I don't think we spoke at the leadership. We spoke a little bit briefly at the whatchamacallit. But I'm like,
Briefly. Yeah. Yeah.
the guy I have to know. Like out of this whole room, this is the guy I have to know. I'm like Jay. I have to
Oh
get to
man.
know him better.
I appreciate that,
Yeah,
Gabriel, and you definitely presented yourself very, very well. I remember you were in a nice suit and everything. I'm like, dude, okay, this guy's dapper. Like, yeah. And come to find out, you're also a business coach, which made it much more amazing, bro.
all right.
So, I definitely, I'm looking forward to actually going to GrowthCon. I know you're going to be there as well. It
Yeah,
should
man.
be fun. Are you from where you're at, Clearwater? You could just drive that, right? Like four
Yeah, it's
four
a
hours,
4 hour
five
drive.
hours.
It's a 4 hour
Yeah.
drive. Mm.
Are you going by yourself, or are you bringing the wife, or
My wife
is
is
she not
coming with
involved
me
in it?
too. No, she's coming with
Oh
me.
wow.
She's a part of like the 10x ladies like ecosystem too.
Oh, that's
Mm.
awesome. I love that. She you got her involved in the 10x ecosystem as well, or is it something that you she was already a part of when you got involved?
No, no, no. I got her involved in it too. Like my friend Maria got me involved in it because like she's good
Yeah.
friends with Elena Cardone. I think they spent
Yeah.
time in
Wow.
Mar-a-Lago together last month. But she
Yeah.
got me into it too, and like I guess it was all about Elena at that point too. And Nina,
Right. Right.
10x ladies, she's like, I got to do this one. So she got involved
Yeah.
with 10x ladies.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I definitely like that. Um, for me, like, my wife, she's in her own world. She's in the corporate world, and she's a technical sales engineer. So she works with like high level companies and everything else. But I'm like, hey, I need to get you involved in the 10x world. Maybe in the future. Maybe in the
Yeah,
future.
it's a
But I've
community.
tried numerous times.
Well, it's a
Yeah.
community. Tell her to come down, give it a shot, like a trial system, and you'll see. Because that's what
Right.
I did with my wife. I told her, all right, I
Yeah.
got her tickets to GrowthCon. She didn't complain about
Right.
anything like that. She was interested in it. So, like, the minute we went to GrowthCon, she like saw like the value of it. And she's like, oh, I
Yeah.
need to be a
It's
part of it.
definitely amazing. Have you how many growth cons have you attended so far?
Two,
Two. This is
2022.
gonna be your second one.
This will be my third one.
Wow. Okay, you're 1 year ahead of me because my first one was last year. That
Yeah.
was it in Vegas, and
Uh,
that was actually pretty cool. That was a
Vegas was
great
good.
event, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the one in Miami in
Yeah.
April. So,
Well,
are
this
you
one,
attending?
yeah, this one was they had it in the same spot 2 years ago. The first one I attended. And
Oh,
that one was
oh,
fun.
really?
Yeah, it was nice and warm. It was at the Diplomat Hotel. It was
Nice.
nice and warm. It was like, the party, the after party. You see Grant Cardone coming in his helicopter.
No way,
Yeah,
really,
he was flying in his helicopter above us. It was really cool. It was fun.
dude.
That's where I met one of my
I'm
partners too. I wouldn't
That's
say
cool.
partner.
I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited, man. I actually got to start booking my travels and everything else. I do plan on going the week prior for the certification.
Yeah, you mentioned
So,
that.
yeah, and then I guess you don't. Everybody don't have to go, but I feel like I definitely need to be there this time around.
Well,
And I wasn't. I was there when we got your certification, but I wasn't ready. So they just
right?
kept me in the yeah, I wasn't. I skipped through it before, and I got certified as a business advisor.
Oh,
And
okay.
because I'm like, I didn't need like, do I need to? I went through the course, um, but through Cardin Ventures, they had a separate one, and it's actually 6 months long. To be honest, to get certified, and I come to find out, I still, to get the actual certification process, I got to
Oh,
go through the training, which I
Cardone.
didn't. I surpassed it. Yeah, yeah. So, but it's still pretty cool because, like I said, I enjoy knowledge, and
Yeah,
I was training earlier this morning. I truly follow what they advise. Hey, train for about you know 30 minutes a day,
do it every
if you
day.
can. Yeah, do it
Every
every day,
day.
little by little. It keeps your mind sharp and everything else. And plus there's so much amazing like training content in there that you're never gonna run out. And
Yeah,
if there's
exactly.
certain things that's more important, you can go back to it and retrain and all that stuff. So yeah, man. But definitely looking forward to spending some time with you and hopefully meeting your lovely wife at the GrowthCon event. And are you staying outside or are you gonna get an Airbnb?
No, actually staying at the hotel. I have a condo down in Fort
The
Lauderdale, which we did last time, but I hated waking
Oh,
up early in the
nice.
morning and getting dressed
And
and then taking an Uber. So this time we're staying at the hotel, at the Diplomat
oh,
Hotel.
very, very cool.
Yeah,
Very cool. I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna
yeah,
look
yeah, stay
into
there. It's
that.
really nice. Nice hotel. It's a nice resort type hotel.
Yeah, very cool, man.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Well, I mean, Gabe, thank you for having
I
this
appreciate you
time
having
spent
me.
with me again, bro. It's great
It's been
getting to
great.
know more about your journey and your experience and learning more about digital marketing and what you do. So, for our viewers, if you are into or you need some help with digital marketing, my friend Gabriel is the man. I'm going to attach and put his social media as well when this this episode launches, and stay tuned for the short form content as well that we're gonna put everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And other than that, Gabriel, one last thing I want to ask you: any advice for people who wants to get into entrepreneurship?
Start. The biggest thing you could ever
Mm,
do for yourself is just start. So forget
mm,
about being perfect. Forget about knowing everything. Start it. Pick your path and
mm,
go for it, because the more time you take, the less time like you have available to yourself. So just start.
right.
Like, follow the number one rule of success. Show up.
Show up. Yeah,
Once you
exactly.
start showing up, everything falls into place. And I guarantee you, I didn't know what the hell I was going to do 3 years ago,
Right.
4 years
Yeah.
ago. Now it's like, hey, I got a really good business going. And I got really, like, I know my path, I know my vision, and I'm famous
And
for it. If I didn't
you
start
stayed
that,
consistent.
yeah, if
Yeah.
I didn't start that, if I didn't really get moving on that, I'd probably be flipping burgers for the rest of my life.
Wow. I mean,
Mm.
that's not a bad thing if you own the diner, right?
Well, that's exactly what I
But
meant by
I know
flipping
what you
burgers.
mean.
I'd be the owner
Yeah.
flipping burgers, and I don't want to be that person.
Right.
Entrepreneurship, you don't get
Right.
to be that person. You want to become more. You want to continue growing.
Right. Right, right.
Mm.
Well, I mean, great tips, my friend. And again, I appreciate your time. I know you're busy just like I am, but I think it's important to share our experiences to the
Exactly.
world and hopefully teach somebody or inspire somebody. And I'm sure we inspired people today, man. I
I hope
appreciate
so.
you hopping onto this episode, Gabriel. And for our viewers, I hope you liked this episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And
Of
if you
course.
did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please follow our channels. Gabriel has his own channel. I have mine, Real Talks Podcast. And Gabriel, for people who wants to follow you, can you share your podcast as well?
So I have the After the Set podcast. You could find it at aftertheset.com, or if you're looking for the episodes, listen.aftertheset.com.
That's
And
awesome, man. And his company is pretty cool. It's before the rice, right? And then you have after the set. Look at that.
yeah,
That's
before the
pretty
rise and after
amazing,
the
dude.
set.
Yeah, yeah. Really, really cool. Well, thanks, Gabriel. I appreciate you,
Thank you
man.
for having
And
me, Jay.
looking forward, yeah, looking forward to seeing you in person in
Same
what,
here.
a couple of months or less?
I think it's like a month and a half. Not even.
Yes, sir.
Less than 2 months, I know.
Awesome, man. Well, definitely looking forward, brother. And again, thank you for your time. And to our audience, we'll see you again next time. Take care, guys.
Appreciate you guys.